Hello, everybody. Happy Friday, and thank you so much for joining us for our Own It edition of Sip and Pitch. My name is Carly Specht. I use she, her pronouns, and I'm Associate Director of Affiliate Relations and External Affairs here at the NGLCC. Our Own It program is a virtual entrepreneurial intensive specifically designed to provide education, resources, and connections to new and aspiring TGX and allied entrepreneurs, led by NGLCC New York and TD Bank. And as the capstone of that program, participants are here today to pitch their business or business concept. So because of that, we have more than our usual 3 pitches today. We've got 7 people here to pitch their business. So we're really excited to hear from all of these new and aspiring entrepreneurs about their businesses. And before we get into the rules and guidelines for today's program, I'm so excited to introduce our 3 incredible judges here with us today. We have Antoine Hinton from Dollar General, Trevor Boylston from Boston Scientific, and Kimberly Ayers from AARP. So thank you all so much for being here and supporting our business owners. Now I'm going to go over some rules and guidelines for the presentations. So first, each company will have 5 minutes to pitch. I will have a timer up on my screen that will count down during each presentation, and then I will also unmute myself to remind presenters when they have just 30 seconds left. We will also have just one presenter from each participating company. And normally we give judges 10 minutes for feedback and Q&A. We're going to cut it a little bit short down to 6 minutes for feedback and Q&A. We have, like I said, more presenters here than usual, so we just ask their judges to keep their feedback to around 2 minutes to ensure we have time for everyone. So don't hold back, give all the feedback, ask all the questions, but just be a little bit mindful of the clock. And if presenters don't have a PowerPoint presentation, that's no problem. This program is designed to be informal to provide real-time feedback for companies' pitches. Also, to the audience, please remember to mute your microphone when you're not speaking. And remember that this is a judgment-free zone. This program is designed to help you enhance your pitch and grow your business. So, of course, all feedback is shared in the spirit of collaboration. And lastly, and most importantly, have fun. Feel free to grab your beverage of choice and enjoy this last Friday of the month with us. So now we will get right into it. First up, we have Kim from Lavender Education. So Kim, I'm going to cover my camera and I'll get a timer up on my screen. Whenever you're ready, you can start your pitch, and then I will start my timer when you start.
Thank you, Carly. Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Kim. I use they, them pronouns. I'd like to start by inviting everyone to reflect on this question, which is thinking about the first time that you saw yourself reflected in learning about history, in a book, in a class, in a work of art. And what was that experience like for you? And how did it support your confidence and your development? For so many LGBTQ people, those moments are few and far between, and we've had to seek it out for ourselves. So Lavender Education exists to be that welcoming point of discovery, resources, and learning. We're a creative education and publishing platform that funds and mentors writers, artists, and historians, ensuring that our stories are heard and not erased. So people come to Lavender Education to learn and to reconnect with themselves and their histories. And while they learn history, they make it too, like Carolina Gonzalez, who founded the Queer Joy Project of East Texas, and she's now documented dozens of stories in Texas. Today, there are funding cuts and politicization that threaten access to queer education and art. In the last 6 months alone, opportunities for LGBTQ creatives have dropped dramatically, and threats to nonprofit funds are rampant. So we're stepping in to fill some of that gap by offering courses like how to do queer history, publishing our digital journal called Floriography, and running the Ink and Impact Fellowship, which has awarded $1,500 stipends to emerging writers and publication opportunities to finalists of that fellowship. So I was a first-generation college student, and now I'm a professor, and I'm also an author. But before that, I was navigating gatekeeping that's inherent in the worlds of publishing and academia. So much of my understanding of queer history, art, writing, these skills came from grassroots forms of education. So I know how hard it is to find support as a queer creative and how empowering it can be when you finally do. I've also worked in nonprofits for over 10 years, seeing the ebbs and flows of philanthropic and government support that has left many with financial insecurity and instability. So at Lavender Education, we have a vision for funding the essential education opportunities for especially queer artists without the uncertainty of that nonprofit structure. And we channel resources directly to artists and to learners. So with your partnership, we can fund more fellows, launch our physical press for florography, and offer scholarships to students nationwide. And when creatives thrive, entire communities can grow together, creatively, economically, and culturally. Together, we can ensure that queer history, art, and education is not only supported, but celebrated and continues to grow for future generations. Thank you for listening.
Thank you so much, Kim. Great job. And I'm going to turn it over to our judges for their feedback, starting with Antoine.
Make sure I unmute myself. Can you hear me okay?
Yes.
Kim, first of all, excellent job. Uh, Obviously, you are a excellent presenter. Uh, you have a warm smile that kind of drew me into everything that you were saying. Love your story. You have the expertise. Very impressive college professor, nonprofit background, and I love what you're doing. The storytelling, the creative side, the history side, to support the LGBTQ plus community. I thought it was great, and I love what you're doing to try to help support people that want to tell their story or should be telling their stories as well. So nice job presenting. You were excellent. Good job.
Thank you, Antoine. Appreciate it.
Thanks so much, Antoine. And next, I'll turn it over to Trevor.
Hey Kim, great to meet you. Thanks for sharing your business with us today. I'm going to be a little bit of a Simon Cowell here and challenge a couple of things, just because I want to make you stronger when you go out and present this. So I'm slightly confused. Is it a nonprofit business? Is it a for-profit business? Who is your target person that is paying you for the service? Um, Help me understand a little more about the I want to say fluoroscopy because, but I don't know if that's the right word for it. Like I'm a little lost on the services and
Sure.
I sometimes I do a little bit better with the visual. So um, um, a one pager would be super helpful for me for understanding some of the things that you're doing. I'm thinking like I'm trying to connect like some of the things we have around here in Boston. Like we have the Queer History Project, which has taken a lot of stories and tried to curate stuff in different ways. So even like, are there partners that I can connect you with that could help in that area? But I need to understand a little bit better.
Yeah, thank you so much. It's helpful to hear that there's clarity needed. Queer History Boston is actually one of our partners on the How to Do Queer History course. And I'm
Awesome.
going to share the website in the chat too, if that's helpful to see more.
Fantastic.
Absolutely. Yeah, of course. And so we are an LLC for-profit business. How that's funded is through folks paying for our courses. There's a very minimal fee to submit to the florography publication. And then we also host events and we use those funds partially to fund things like scholarships or the Ink and Impact Fellowship, where we give fellows a stipend to work on their creative pursuits. Does that help
Awesome.
to clarify more?
It does definitely. And thank you for the website. I can see that now. That makes more sense. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you for that feedback. I appreciate it.
Yeah, I was actually looking on your website as you were talking. So
Okay.
so Trevor's comment is fair because I needed to look on the website to get a better understanding of it. So good call, but that helped me out.
Thanks so much, Trevor. And Kimberly.
Well, the guys both stole my side. Fantastic presentation, and I really enjoyed hearing about what you were doing, as Anton was saying, and as Trevor was saying. I was trying to in my procurement brain, I'm like, okay, well, where's the money coming from?
Mhm.
How does this how does this tie together? But it does help greatly, and it really does help to see your website. And I do want to just slightly comment on your site too. I like it. It's eye-catching, it's grabbing. There's enough content and information on there where you don't feel like you're still kind of questioning and trying to figure out what happens with the program. I almost kind of wished you would have maybe talked about some of the programs a little bit more. I know you
Mhm.
started getting in and speaking about the one artist that you had, but I would love to hear that kind of storytelling from you a little bit more. So maybe a few sentences up front that kind of marries what both Antoine and Trevor were saying with the back history and like really quick on here's how we're structured and set up in a couple of sentences, and then just lead into the real lived stories and experiences that have happened as a result of right these artists coming to you and being able to kind of flourish. And then what's your call to action from me, right? Is it that you're looking for donations? Is it that you're looking for like in an AARP situation? Are you looking for kind of like a white glove partnership where this becomes a benefit to our 50 plus members who are in
Mm.
the queer space, right? So what is that action that you're looking for? What's that takeaway that you need from us? But overall, I mean, this is awesome. Super, super fascinating. I love it. Thank you so much. And thank you for having such a great idea.
Thank you, Kimberly. I really appreciate that feedback. Thanks.
Thank you so much, Kimberly, and thanks again, Kim. Great job. We're going to go on to our next presenter here in just a second. So, Colt, you're up with Riverside Family Medicine. Let me get my timer back up here for you. And then if you're going to be sharing your screen, you can go ahead and get that up there. Feel free to start your pitch whenever you're ready, and then I will start my timer when you start.
All right. Thank y'all for having me. My name is Dr. Colt Sanema. My pronouns are he and they, and I am the founder of Riverside Family Medicine. So, if you're familiar with pediatric transgender medical care right now, you know that transgender care is under attack in a way that it's never been before, specifically for those people who are 18 and under. If you see the map here, you'll see that over half of our states in the dark orange currently have a ban on any pediatric gender affirming care, whether that's puberty blockers, hormone therapy, and in some states, they're even talking about banning supportive psychotherapy for transgender youth. This is a huge problem, and it's been incredibly overwhelming. I'm myself am transgender. I transitioned almost 20 years ago. I am a family medicine doctor as well as a child family clinical psychologist. And about a year ago, I had a gut feeling that something like this was going to happen. Now, I'm from Texas, and I lived in Texas my whole life up until recently when I moved to upstate New York. I'm currently in Oneonta, New York. We have shield laws here protecting our practice. And the way that this is happening, how in the world, why are all these clinics shutting down? Well, even in states where it is legal and we have supportive governors to support pediatric gender care, what we're finding is the federal government is threatening Medicaid funding and saying if your hospital system says that they're going to continue to provide pediatric transgender care, we are not going to give you any Medicaid reimbursement for any of your patients. And so, as we've seen, UCLA Children's Hospital in LA, California has shut down care. Fenway Health and FQHC in Boston has shut down care. So even in safe states, we are seeing care being shut down. So I decided about a year ago that I wanted to get out of the corporate hospital system. I didn't want to have a cisgender boss who would tell me I had to stop seeing transgender patients. I knew that wouldn't be good for my mental health, and I knew that wouldn't be good for my community. So in residency, I learned about private practices called direct primary care. And what that is it's a monthly membership model where the physician opts out of Medicaid, opts out of Medicare, and just charges a monthly rate for their patients to be a member in their practice. We offer 3-tier memberships depending on patients' income. So they can either pay $85 a month, $150 a month, or $195 a month to be patients in our clinic. It's a PLLC in August, so just recently I started taking patients, and today we closed on this building. So I now have a brick and mortar clinic, and I enrolled my 25th patient. We have patients traveling from these 27 different states to be able to come in and get their care. Our team is me. I am the physician and psychologist. My partner C is our front desk staff, as well as our practice manager. And then we have Nathan, who's my intake coordinator and my psych tech. We are all trans and 2/3 BIPOC. Our ask is that, I am now a business person after being a medical person forever. So I would love to get relationships with business advisors and also ask for donations and funding so we can support growth and expansion. With this increased demand of patients, that's only going to be growing, at least for the next year or two, depending on what's going to play out federally. I would like to get another provider in here as well. Thank y'all.
Thank you so much, Colt. Great job and congratulations. And I'm going to turn it over to our judges now for feedback. And this time, Trevor, I will start with you.
All right, Dr. Colt. Yeah, that Fenway capitulation hurt bad this week in Massachusetts. Last week in Massachusetts, I was a Fenway patient. I was a Fenway board member. It is not going over well in this community. So thank you for the work that you're doing. It is very close to home as a trans man who has also been 20 years in transition. It's really disheartening, and it's awesome to see someone that is finding ways to still continue to do the work, even as trusted entities turn their backs. So thank you for the work that you're doing. I work for Boston Scientific. We're a major healthcare organization that has minimally invasive surgical solutions in many hospitals and systems across the globe. I don't know much about running a clinic, but I know we have a lot of healthcare educators and a lot of people on our staff. So let's connect outside of this, and I'll see what our teams can do to support you and the work you're doing with our Pride ERG. We don't have any offices in New York, but we are in Massachusetts. We're in Indiana. We've had recently one of our employees put his trans daughter and wife on a plane to Malta because they were too afraid to stay in this country. So that's all I have to say. Thank you.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for that feedback. I am currently applying for my licenses in Massachusetts and Pennsylvania at the moment, so I'd be happy to connect.
Thank you so much. And thank you so much, Trevor. Kimberly.
I'm just blown away and excited and so proud of you for starting this. Let's call it what it is. It's concierge medicine. Let's be proud of it. Let's celebrate it. I think it is absolutely fantastic, and you should lead with that, right? That you are elevating to a new level. I would think that well, I know if I had a medical license, I would definitely be right there. But have you considered branching out to people who are allies, right, that are interested in leaving the medical profession, like yourself, and maybe starting clinics in some of the areas that you showed on the map? And thank you for that visual. I mean, that was so striking. I know that was the first almost kind of 2/3 of what you talked about, but it was so important, and I'm so glad that you talked about that and you had the visual. But I think maybe you could expand if you were open to allowing other doctors who have and feel the same as we all do about ensuring that every person receives medical care, especially trans children. Not so much with kids, but as you know, AARP is really big with caregiving and how and what those resources look like and how to actually be able to help both the person and the caregiver themselves. So if there's anything that I can do to help, I know Trevor is definitely going to be the key for you, but if there's anything that I can do, I think that's fantastic. But I would just say look to, potential partnership opportunities with other allied doctors who are willing to leave standard practice for the concierge life. And your pricing is fantastic and very affordable. So I think that that's awesome if you can sustain that model.
Oh, thank you so much, Kimberly. Yeah, they in the DPC world they say call it affordable concierge medicine. So I will work on that. And I'm licensed in Texas, Minnesota, and New York right now, and seeing adults in all of those places as well. I think for this pitch, I just wanted to be specific on the PD
Yes.
gender because it's such a
Yeah.
big thing and it's hard to,
Yeah.
put it all together. But yeah, definitely. We have a couple of different groups of right now of doctors who are looking to leave institutions, and it's really specific to what's happening with pediatric gender care. So on a couple of
Great.
groups, because the big dream would be like, okay, let's have a bunch of different Riverside medicals across the states. And we also, I didn't tell you, but I'm Two-Spirit. So we incorporate Two-Spirit Indigenous medicine into conventional medicine, mind, body, spirit
Wow.
connection, whole life stuff. So I just feel like I'm so new at this, but that would be the dream.
Yeah. So that's a lot there. And I think you're right. If what you're seeing and your research is showing that you should focus on peds, then stay that route and maybe come up with a plan of, in year 2 and year 3, I can start to branch out, look at, more adults, what have you. So that way you don't get too distracted or even overwhelmed by everything that's happening and trying to fix too many silos because we want you to be successful at this.
Thank you all so much.
Thank you so much. And Antoine.
Yes, Dr. Colt, excellent job. Like, really excellent job. Your passion about serving your community, it came through clearly in your pitch. So first, I want to thank you for your community-centered mission. I thought it was awesome about whole person care, long-term relationships, all those type of things. It's not just about treating the symptoms. That's what I heard in your speech, but it's about building trust and improving lives over time. So I want to commend you for that. And then your background and experience, if I'm reading my notes correctly, obviously you're a doctor and you're transgender as well. Like, it gives credibility to what you're doing. So kudos to you from that perspective as well. So I wanted to share that as well. Feedback I would provide, you did an excellent job. Eventually over time, when you have, I don't know if you have any success stories yet, but as you develop a patented success story or compelling anecdote, that emotional connection can make your mission and your pitch more tangible and more memorable, right? As you tell people your story. So think about that, starting off with that success story. In addition to that, as you continue to think about plans to scale up, right? New innovation, are there plans to expand your services, adopt new technologies and different things like that? I would look forward to hearing different things like that in your vision as well, in your vision and mission as you talk about that. But overall, excellent job. I commend you on what you're doing, and good luck. If there's anything we can do to help you, let us know as well. Obviously, I'm Dollar General retail, so probably not, much I could do, but if you have any thoughts on how we can help support your mission and your vision, definitely let us know.
Awesome. Thank you so much for your feedback. I really appreciate it.
Thank you so much, Antoine, and thank you so much, Dr. Colt. Congratulations. It's great to hear about the work that you're doing. Next up, we have Charlie from The Love of Dogs. So Charlie, if you have a slides you're going to be presenting, you can go ahead and start sharing those whenever you're ready. I will get my timer up and started as soon as you start pitching.
Great, give me one moment here.
Sure, take your time.
Okay, can you see my window okay?
Yep.
Awesome. Then we can go ahead and get started. Hi, everybody. My name is Charlie. I'm the owner and founder at the Love of Dogs Pet Care. We are a trans-owned and operated pet care company that's transforming the pet care industry through innovative employment practices and personalized care. So let me start with a number that should get your attention, which is $152 billion. That's billion with a B. That's the size of the US pet care market as of 2024, and it's anticipated to grow to 250 billion by 2030. In Los Angeles, where we operate, that's the #1 US city for dog ownership, with over 561,000 dog owning households, more than double the New York City pet population. But here's the problem. This huge industry relies almost entirely on gig workers who have limited stake in pet well-being, which creates inconsistent and personal care that often fails pet owners who view their dogs as family. 84% of pet owners consider their dog to be like a child, but these options can often force them to pick a less than ideal sitting solution. Gig platforms can provide convenience, but there are rotating strangers with high turnover. In fact, 62% of gig workers experience wage theft, which minimizes loyalty and motivation for quality care. Traditional independent sitters lock you into one person with no backup when they're unavailable or go on vacation. Neither of these options builds trusted, consistent, reliable relationships that pets need and owners are willing to pay premium prices for. This is where the Love of Dogs comes in. We provide individualized pet care through an employee-owned model where caregivers have a literal ownership stake in your pet's well-being. We're executing this in 2 phases. The first is the Dog House, a transitional housing facility offering training for unhoused pet owners, helping them build careers while caring for pets. Phase 2 is Doggiplex. If you've ever wanted to take your dog to Disneyland, this will be your chance. It's going to be a full-service, employee-owned dog and human entertainment campus with daycare, grooming, training, retail, cafes, and more, all operated by worker owners invested in long-term quality. Now, this structure gives us 3 defensible competitive advantages. First, employee ownership creates superior retention. Gig workers can churn in months, but our model delivers a 5.2-year tenure, building deep customer relationships that drive lifetime value and reduce our customer acquisition costs. Second, we are a values-aligned organization. 68% of consumers actively prioritize ethical practices when making purchasing decisions, and 65% of millennials, our fastest growing demographic, willingly pay 30 to 40% premium for personalized services. Our LGBT certification connects us to corporate partners with diverse supplier spending goals, and LGBTBEs generate 3 times the average revenue of other small businesses. We're also on our way to an NMSDC certification and plans to obtain a DOBE certification. Finally, our founder market fit. With 20 years of pet care experience and a master's in human resource management, I'm uniquely positioned to create an employee ownership structure that competitors cannot replicate. So the market timing for this is perfect. The pet services sector is growing at an 11.8% compound annual growth rate. The pet sitting market specifically will grow from 2.69 billion today to 5.14 billion by 2030. Gen Z pet ownership is surging 43.5% year over year, and these younger owners treat their pets like children, prioritizing premium pet care in their household budgets. LA pricing runs 25% above national average, supporting our premium price positioning. So once we achieve Doggiplex, that will generate revenue through multiple streams. And as a result, we're able to set our goals really high. Our benchmark is Camp Bow Wow, whose franchises average 1.4 million in revenue with top quartile owners earning $380,000 in discretionary income. We also have early traction demonstrating market validation. $36,000 in annual recurring revenue, where we serve over 40 clients since launching in August of 2023. Our customers pay 30% premium over platform pricing because we emphasize consistent caregivers and personalization. And our certifications and membership with the NGLCC gives us access to Fortune 500 partnerships, connections with advisors, and other business resources. Lastly, for this, we are seeking a $500,000 seed round to get us through phase 1. But since I'm not assuming you all are billionaires, I'm just asking for a referral. Thank you so much for taking the time to listen, and I'm looking forward to your feedback.
Thank you so much, Charlie. Great job. I'm going to turn it over to our judges now. So I will start with Kimberly.
Thank you for that, Charlie. And I'm gonna be honest, I'm a dog mom. I set my little one up with his trainer a couple of times a week. He actually had him today. And you're right, I prioritize him in my household budget right after my mortgage. So I definitely think that you have something great here. Um, but looking at the brass tacks dollars, you gave a lot of figures in your presentation. And so where I'm at is you're a new company, only a couple years old. Looks like you have started some retention, about 36K in revenue. And you're speaking about phase 1, which I'm assuming is the money you need to be able to purchase this Disneyland complex that you're referring to. I'm just a little unclear on that. So if you could kind of give me a little bit more information, help me understand what phase 1 really is.
Yeah, so let me actually track back a little bit in my presentation. So when I'm talking about phase 1, it's actually a step before Doggiplex, which is something called the Doghouse. This will be our first brick and mortar facility that is where we will house our daycare and boarding, as well as manage employees who go out into the field to do pet care in home. The doghouse is also going to be where we pilot our first employment program for unhoused individuals who have pets. The goal here is to both create a profitable business while giving back to the community. And so we'll have employment as well as training programs for unhoused pet owners to work. And part of their compensation would also be the housing, utilities, and basics they need to survive. So these people would actually live at the doghouse.
Wow, that's great. That's amazing.
Thank you.
Yeah. I don't want to take up all the time, so Anthony or Trevor.
No worries, you're good. And I will turn it over to Antoine next.
Yes, excellent job. Again, I like the clear passion. Just like everybody else, everybody has great passion about their product or their service. So nice job there. In addition to that, I love the service that you're obviously providing, the personalized pet service. That's very important. And then the community engagement is very important as well. Love that you're data centric. Data is important to me. Data can tell a great story. So you had a lot of great data, whether it's quantitative or qualitative data. You had both that help tell your story. So great job. Areas for opportunity is continue to clearly define your niche. Rather than focused on boarding, walking, grooming, or training. I think I got it, but it kind of took me a while to get it. So what your focus, what your niche is, make sure that that's clear, because a sharper focus, right, helps us as judges understand what your core value and your scalability is. In addition to that, I would think, and I could be wrong, but you probably have a lot of competition out there in this space. So make sure that you're clear on what your differentiator is. So I think that's important. important as well, whether it's your training, your holistic care approach, or your services, mobile services. Did you have mobile services? Did I get that?
Yes.
Yeah. Yep. Whether it's that, just make sure it's clear. You're clear and concise on that, because that could be a huge differentiator for you. So those are my thoughts. But great job. Appreciate the pitch. You did a great job.
Thank you so much. I appreciate the feedback.
Thanks, Antoine. And Trevor.
Hey Charlie, great to see you again. This has come so far. I'm really proud of the growth that you've had in getting this to where it is, and following up on Antoine, like the data is key. Having done your research and being able to present that clearly to investors is going to be a really key piece for you moving forward with this. When you look at your doghouse model here, when you're thinking about that, the recruiting people into that transitional housing, are you considering any other support services that you'd be bringing in for those folks in that model, or are you kind of like do it all your own piece? And also, you mentioned a competitor with a very successful franchisee model. How are you planning? If you do get to a point where you're franchising for the love of dog, how are you going to maintain consistency with your franchisees to make sure that they are giving their clients um, the same expected service? Like we walk into a McDonald's, we all know what a Big Mac tastes like in any McDonald's across the country. How is For the Love of Dog going to be in Minnesota and Massachusetts and Florida? How are you going to ensure that they're the same everywhere?
Yes. Forgive me. Can you repeat your first question?
I was talking about when you get your transitional housing model set up,
Mhm.
when you're bringing in staff for that place. Are you partnered with any additional service providers, like someone like Dr. Colt, for example, to help with healthcare needs or mental health needs, to support the folks that you're going to have living in that space?
Yeah, so my goal is to kind of to your point, partner with other values aligned organizations. So in terms of sourcing those employees, for example, I'd love to partner with the LA LGBT Center and their youth shelter program. So sourcing those youth to be able to give them job trainings and a clear career trajectory, as well as NGLCC partnerships or with other certified businesses to make sure they're getting those support. And then to answer your second question briefly, I don't know that I want to franchise, but my personal goal is to, especially through employee ownership, it's really all about creating organizational alignment from the top down and letting the guiding principles and values be what guides everybody's decision within the organization. And I have experience and knowledge on how to do that in my master's in human resource management, as well as a few years of consulting on how to do this.
Good. Thank you.
Thank
Thank you
you.
for your feedback, Trevor and judges. Thank you so much, Charlie. Great job. All right, next up we have Sarah Martin from Kiss and Ride ATL. So Sarah, if you have slides you're going to be using, you can go ahead and share your screen whenever you're ready. I will get my timer ready. And once you get started on your pitch, I will start my timer.
Hey, UTL. I slide is a very small queer photos up there, so you can get the idea of what I mean when I say small, like very boutique feel. Alongside our sexual wellness products, we also carry a bunch of goods from local queer artists. So right now we're housing over 15 local queer artists. And then we provide free resources. Some examples of those are free private shopping hours where people can book to come shop with me and ask questions in a more like intimate environment if they feel intimidated by being in a sexual wellness store. We also provide free gently used binders, Plan B, condoms, pregnancy test, menstrual products, and fentanyl chest strips, as well as Narcan. So a little bit about our free resources. Alongside the actual brick and mortar, we also host a variety of events. If I can get to the next page. So this is Kiss and Ride's second year. The first year we hosted 17 events. Some example of those is Queer Lube Wrestling. That one brought out over 1,000 people for that event. Queer Spelling Bees, figure drawing classes. Along with like our more fun events, we have educational nights. For example, once a month, we partner with All Y'all Primary Care. They come into the shop completely for free, and they have a night where folks can come in and learn how to properly do their hormone injections or ask questions. They can bring partners in who learn how to do the hormone injections, so they have a team support. They can ask any kind of questions. We also do monthly STI testing and then for free. And we work with a queer pelvic floor specialist to do nights on how to fit your binders correctly, how to talk about painful penetrative sex, and just ask any of those questions that you really want to sit down with a doctor for. So we have our brick and mortar side, retail, and then we also have the events that we host throughout the year. What makes Kiss and Ride different? So I wanted to open Kiss and Ride because I am from the South. I had very little sex education, and I'm also queer. And one day I realized, I looked around Atlanta and there wasn't a lot of stores that cater to the queer community. So what I went out to do is I looked at the local stores in Atlanta, took inventory of what they have. They're great stores, but we were lacking stores with binders, packers, tucking kits, and we're lacking stores that were in brightly colored rooms, like open windows that weren't like the traditional sexual wellness stores. And so I really wanted to create an environment where folks could come in, ask questions, see themselves represented, and also have a lot of accessibility tools. So we have a lot of tools for folks with different disabilities to make sex accessible for them. Atlanta was just lacking that. So I kind of went out, found the need, made it happen. I think what also makes us different is the community services that we provide. I feel very proud of all the different people we partner with to make our community service happen. It feels really special, and we don't see that in a lot of other adult stores throughout Atlanta. Some numbers that we all know, this is not like my profit, it's the sales from the first 2 years. So there's a lot going into it, but just to show like the little bit of growth we have. The first year sales are around 57,000. Right now we're at 74,000 sales for the second year. The ask that I am presenting. So I've done all this as one person. I've taken out $20,000 of loans to make this happen. The community, we do fundraising events sometimes, but as we know, we're all passing around the same $20 often. So the things I'm looking for is I would love to find someone that can help me find a bank that wants to work with Kiss and Ride. As a sexual wellness business, I'm denied banks all the time. I'm denied loans, credit cards, all the things that are really important to help me get extra money to keep this going and really grow the business. I'm often denied. So I would love help like finding ways to navigate the system in a way that works for my business. And of course, I think like we're all looking for funders. The community shows up all the time for Kiss and Ride. People volunteer their time for free at the store so I can have days off so the store can like grow. But yeah, I just need that extra push to really get the store to where I know it can go. That's it.
Thank you so much, Sarah. Great job. And I will turn it over to our judges for some feedback. So this time we'll start with Trevor.
I wish I lived in Atlanta. Uh, it's awesome. I love seeing things that are community centered and that are bringing things that should be talked about but aren't into the light. We're all human beings, and that's part of being a human being. And um, I it's so fascinating to hear that the banks and credit cards don't want to work with you because of the type of shop you are, and that is
Mhm.
um, I I honestly don't know how to solve for that, but I thank you for bringing that as a very clear ask, and I'm going to ask some of my friends who do work for banks is like, all right, how do we how yeah, I'm in Massachusetts, I'm not in Atlanta, but we have an office in Johns Creek, so I I'll do my networking thing down that way and we'll see what we can do. um from a presentation standpoint, I don't know if it was my audio or yours cut out a little bit at the beginning, so it kind of jumped in on that first slide with your pictures of the shop and great photos. I think we can work a little bit on some branding for the slides, some marketing material to help you tell that story. But awesome. And I'm going to look for you next time I get down to the Johns Creek facility.
Yeah, please do. Thank you.
Thanks so much, Trevor and Kimberly.
Great presentation. I feel the same. It saddens me that you're having so much trouble with trying to have funding. But I'm going to hopefully check around and see if there's a source that we could tap for you. Um, I love the education portion. I think that is so important, especially, which I'm sure you do. You probably get a lot of folks who are 50 and older that
Mhm.
are coming into the store, maybe a little shy or, but I'm just so happy that you're there to support the entire community. And it just looks like so much fun. I like the next time I'm in Atlanta, I'm definitely stopping by. It just looks amazing, and hopefully I can make it for one of your events. So great job. Loved the storytelling. Maybe you could tighten it up a little bit to be a little bit more cohesive, but I like that you're trending. You are seeing some year-over-year growth, so I think that's very positive. And then maybe just trying to find smart tools where you can to help assist you along the way until you get to the point where you can get assistance. And don't forget about the power of internships.
Mm-hmm.
And so I'm sure there are probably some students or even people who are coming to the shop regularly that could, help become a part of your staff, to help you kind of augment and share some of that work with you. So great
Thank
job.
you.
Thank you so much, Sarah.
Thank you.
Thanks so much, Kimberly and Antoine.
Yes, great job, Sarah. First of all, I love the name.
Thank you.
Very catchy. Resonates emotionally, suggests a lot of good things. So a strong foundation for storytelling with that name alone. So I just encourage you to embrace that. Have a little fun with it, right?
Mhm.
Give me that big smile right there. Like have fun with it. You have a great product, right? You have a great story. You have a great brand. Like have fun with it. And I just love it. Similar to Trevor, I didn't know if it was an audio issue, but a better introduction probably would catch our attention more. But if it was an audio issue, then I apologize for that. But just a better introduction just to immediately catch our attention. But great job. And my only other thoughts is, do you sell online as well?
I do sell online. That's been also finicky recently with just different credit card companies not wanting to do adult websites. So I do sell online. I need to like build out the website more, but it's like a small percentage of the sales for sure.
Yeah. Yeah, I would think online business would be great for those people that are shy to physically go in a brick and mortar location, right?
Mhm.
Online could be huge. Obviously, different shows at people homes and different things like that, right? Um, Probably do well also. And it's all about, at the end of the day, differentiating yourself from the competition, right? Because there might be similar options, might maybe not exactly the same, but similar options out there. So how do you differentiate yourself from the competition is going to be key at the end of the day. But great job and good luck out there. I hate to hear stories like you're having problem getting funding for various reasons or credit card stuff like that. That's crazy. But great job and continue to do what you do and again embrace it, have fun with it, play off that name because you got a very catchy and fun name, which can immediately draw people attention and again great storytelling can resonate from that alone. All right.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, judges, and thank you so much, Sarah. Next up, we have Kit from Kit TJ Services. So Kit, if you're sharing your screen, you can go ahead and do that now. If not, you can just go ahead and start your pitch whenever you are ready. And when you start your pitch, I will start my timer.
Testing. Can folks hear me?
Yep.
Great. If I'm looking away, I'm looking at you in spirit. I just have multiple screens. Uh, gonna get almost ready. All right. I'm gonna share my screen. Hold on a second. Alrighty. I'm gonna begin. All right, so welcome to a little tidbit on Kit TJ Services and the TJ Practitioner Directory I like to present to you today. Okay, so the team, I am both the instructor and project steward of this project. I am a global restorative and transformative justice practitioner, born and raised in Boston, Massachusetts, but based in Colorado. I have several teaching assistants and alumni fellows that have gone through the program, graduated the program, and helped me keep this chugging along. I have had 3 cohorts up to date, and I hope to have more coming in January. So, problems, there's so many problems nowadays with conflict resolution. How do we bring people into the room? How are we amplifying voices? And I encountered this a lot in the decade of a variety of different things I've done. I've done retail, I've done hospitality, I've done law, I've done administration. And during the pandemic, I wanted to go back and go get a dream that I wanted to do, was to code. And how do I resolve that problem? We're going to get into the meat and potatoes. But on a high level, okay, that's how this idea arose. I wanted to be able to blend my skill set of being a software developer and also leveraging my practitioner skills. And this is just being able to create a network of practitioners across the United States who have gone through the same training that I do. So in the 5 years I've been a practitioner, students are learning very intensive topics in transformative justice, restorative justice, critical race theory, global dynamics in 2 years. So they're learning it at half the time in a very accelerated graduate level course. And I coded and created this website in 2022, and we've had nearly 900 users come and check out this website across the world. So we'll get into where that comes from. Additionally, just this month, in this year, we've had only 250 users check out our website. So people are yapping, and we want them to find us. In terms of global impact, I looked at our different countries, regions, towns and cities, and languages. And as you can see, it is propagating across a very diverse environment. So from student to practitioner. So every student is encouraged and supervised with a project that they focus on within their local community. And throughout the entire time that they learn this material, they're building on it. They have a research database that has been compiled from cohorts before, so new students have access to it. And then we prepare them to actually go out and do what I do. So they can give back to their community by holding workshops, they can be on panels, they can help people resolve their conflicts. And we have people across the world looking at our page. So hopefully they can start contacting us really soon. And this is a testimonial I will not have time to go through, but one of my students who has been here since the inception of the program in 2021 has really found a lot of value. And my favorite flower is a sunflower, and sunflowers turn towards each other when there's no sun. So we got to start turning towards each other. some hurdles and challenges that I have navigated. It's tough being a non-binary trans woman navigating this world and constantly being redirected in opportunities and not having the opportunity to promote myself and get myself out there. But I've also been taking the influence of being a software engineer and changing my mindset so we can be more marketable. And there's several ways you can help listed in the slide deck provided.
30
So
seconds.
yes, thank you. Some future iterations. We are getting more class students. We are showcasing what students are doing with their projects. We're giving more context around mentorship, and hopefully they have a practice booking platform. I am trained in this for the past 5 years, and I have been trained cumulatively in transformative justice, restorative justice, and facilitation. And we're out of time.
Thank you so much, Kit. Great job. I am going to turn it over to the judges here for feedback. And this time I am going to start with Antoine.
I'm taking notes, so.
All right, great job. First of all, I love your background.
Thank you.
That caught my attention immediately. I love art, so I love that. Seriously, that is phenomenal. But great job. I got a question for you, Kit. So
Yes.
when you say practitioners in what focus areas? Give those to me again. I think you mentioned it, but I want
Yeah.
to make sure I'm clear on that.
I train all my students, and I'm trained myself in transformative justice,
Yeah.
restorative justice, and facilitation theory.
Okay. Critical race theory. Did I hear that as well?
Yes, I also include that in the repertoire of their skills.
Okay. Great. And who's your target audience?
Who's my target audience?
Yep.
It's basically anyone in the world that, just wants to witness this work, contribute this work, learn. I have an experience vetting process, and I have a very small class size. So students are also getting that one-on-one mentorship from someone out in the field.
Okay. So your goal is to get more students to participate in your program, if I got that correctly, and is your goal to potentially offer your services, or rather if it's to schools, communities, corporations, different things like that?
Yeah. So when I intake students, I have a vetting process, and by the time they finish the program, which is usually 2 and 2.5 years, that's like my stamp of approval. They have all the training to be able to go out and facilitate in schools, help their local communities. So it's kind of like a skill share with very focused mentorship, and then students are encouraged to have pro bono opportunities and use me as a mentor to say, like, phone a friend, what something came up, help me.
Okay. Okay. Great. I love it. There's definitely a need. There's definitely an opportunity. I would just tighten up your presentation so it's more clear and concise on what solution that you're offering.
Yes.
Right. At the end of the day, that's what it's about. What your ask is, what solution that you're offering. I think that's going to be key. But it's definitely, I love what you're doing. It's needed. Kudos to you for pouring into, I like to say, future teachers, different things like that. It's funny, my wife is a college professor and she teaches critical race theory. And yeah, so that's something she's passionate about. Obviously, a lot of challenges under the current administration, but she's navigating through that. So I have a passion for what you're talking about because I understand it as well. Obviously, a lot of it correlates with what we're doing as supply diversity practitioners. But I took too much time. I apologize, Carly, but great job. And just clear and concise, tighten it up. That's it. Thank you.
Thanks, Antoine. No worries. Great feedback. And next, we'll hear from Trevor.
Thanks, Kit. Absolutely, definitely needed work. I think for me, listening to this from a corporate mindset is my first thought is how do I take this back to a corporate setting and present it to the right audience internally. So and a few things in that in the presentation that would help, outline what do you mean by transformative justice and how does that look in a corporate world, uh, and and take this. I always say you ask 100 people for feedback on your deck, you're going to get 100 different responses. So for me, my thought is always, all right, how does this translate if I take this deck and hand it to someone internally and you're not there to present it to them? Are they going to understand what your value proposition is, what the takeaway is that you want our company to understand? So when you go through the deck, make sure that you're clearly articulating the problem, your solution to the problem, and what the ask is from us as a company or as your customer to buy into your solution for that problem. So I would recommend, I know you say your target audience is everybody. There are probably part of that everybody that don't even understand what transformative justice means, what restorative justice means. So we might need to break it down a little bit more for those people who are like, yes, that's what I've been looking for. I just didn't have the words for it. But overall, I'm looking forward to seeing where this goes.
Thank you. I do plan to share the slide deck with my students for feedback. I love getting user feedback. It's part of being a developer. So we love to see it. And I definitely hear the weight about the value proposition. So yeah, thank you.
Thanks so much, Trevor and Kimberly.
I think the guys hit on most of the points that I had concerns on. Just assume that most people do not understand what, you know, critical race theory, restorative justice, and find not only a way to define it to them, but a way that's like a bite-sized, snackable, easy, digestible. Oh, okay, that makes sense, kind of schoolhouse rocket for us, right? But so that's one. And then the second part is, what's your differentiator in doing this? Because then people might say, oh, okay, well, you are intending to try to teach a course on online or on campus or whatever it happens to be. Like, how is it that you're trying to run this program? And if you are trying to do things online or you have a webinar set up, like let's talk about that, right? Like let's add that in to the ways in which you can have these conversations. And I'd also add in that, you are building a safe ecosystem for people to learn, have these conversations, and to be able to safely facilitate the conversations themselves once they've gone through the program.
Yeah, thank you for that.
Great job.
I really appreciate that. Well, you won't get your little schoolhouse rock moment.
Thank you.
Because I'm restorative justice can't be lobbing out big words without breaking it down. So transformative justice is a two-part methodology. None of this is new. This is from Indigenous, Black, people of color, the global majority. So transformative justice is a system where we are able to stop the violence or harm that is occurring and transform the conditions that led to that harm so they never happen again. While restorative justice is focusing on how do we look on the relationship between people, and transformative justice is like, what led to this? And now let's expand the range.
Yeah.
And yeah.
And
So
I think like both of the guys were saying, like finding what your audience is, right? I mean, for example, if you're with someone inside of the A or P community, I mean, they could probably speak for hours and have their story. But once they realize what you're talking about, once they realize that it's safe, that they could have a group conversation about it. So it's really in like your approach and how you're teeing things up. But I think it's fantastic. I would definitely like to keep touch with you because I think what you're doing would work really well for our state offices that are caring about issues on a local level. But we've got some tweaking to do, like the guy said. But fantastic.
well, my name means keep in touch, so please do. I
I love
invite
that. I I love that. That's fantastic.
Thank
Thank
you.
you, Kit.
Thank you, Own It, for your time, and thank you, judges.
Yeah, thank you so much, judges. Thank you so much, Kit. Great job. All right, next up is Ken from Sky Island Design Research. So Ken, if you're going to share any slides, you can go ahead and share your screen. If not, you can get right into your pitch, and whenever you start, I will start my timer.
Okay, can you see my screen?
Yep.
Okay, I'm ready.
All right, go ahead.
Okay. Well, this is a great opportunity. This is my second time to pitch, so I hope it's gotten a little better. But so my name is Ken Rourke, and I'm a practicing visual and medical anthropologist and educator with over 20 years ethnographic and design research experience in the US and Canada. And I'm the founder and primary investigator for Sky Island Design Research, LLC. And it's a qualitative design research practice based in Tucson, Arizona. Our team partners with community-based organizations and academic research and design teams. And we leverage skills in community engaged research, visual ethnography, collaborative evaluation, and participatory design to tell unexpected stories and to develop shared decision-making tools. And like patient screening and treatment aids for bipolar affected families is one of the projects we're working on now. New rural health services, educational videos, civic apps and games with queer, trans, and non-binary youth, and underserved constituents and community stakeholders. So, our team consists of myself and a small roster of other diverse LGBTQ subcontractors, designers, and UX researchers. And my goal is to grow sustainably and ethically and branch out to provide group and on-demand training to organizations and practitioners. Also expand our client base to work with transnational NGOs and get involved in government contracting or subcontracting more likely. We'd like to be able to hire our first permanent part-time admin, grant, and or contract management employee in the next 2 years. And I am looking for mentorship, IP advice, like I said, new clients, collaboration, and subcontracting opportunities. So that's it.
Thank you so much, Ken. Great job. I'm going to turn it over to our judges for their feedback. And this time we'll start with Kimberly.
Thanks for that, Ken. So I saw um, the qualitative. Do you also do quantitative research as well?
No, I do mixed methods research, so in
Okay.
collaboration with other folks. So I can do some quantitative work, but it's not my specialty. So I'm comfortable working on teams with and I can help. I can do the design, the research design for mixed methods, but I would subcontract or work with someone for the quantitative component.
So are you looking to, or do you feel like you're starting to get a strong enough partner where you could become competitive and say that you have qual and quant capabilities, that you work with a partner and you're actually able to turn that research around?
I wouldn't advertise. I might say mixed methods, but I wouldn't say qual and quant because just the way that I work in collaboration. So it's if I were, I mean, I guess that would be one area I could potentially hire eventually. You know, someone that have that background. or add to like I said, the roster of folks that I'm working with. It's a little bit different space. Normally I'm brought into, like an academic, I'm brought into teams. They are doing quantitative work or they're clinical researchers. And they bring me in, to help with a mixed methods design. And then I lead the qualitative and design research part of it. So, yeah.
Okay. The only reason that I'm pushing on that side so hard, I know personally, like with our Public Policy Research Institute team, that is a hard requirement off the bat. If I can't show that there is both of those dynamic skills, then I can't bring you to the table, right? So I think maybe one of the areas that you could work at and get a little stronger in to become more competitive would be in finding a strong partner for you there, since you know that that's not your particular sweet spot. And I celebrate you for knowing that that's not your sweet spot and trying to take that on. So that's fantastic.
Yeah, I could do it. I wouldn't want to. I would.
Right, right, exactly. Other than that, I loved your presentation. Maybe digging in a little bit further on the particular research topics and how you can flex in the work that you do, and maybe some additional quick storytelling on the various varieties of research that you've provided. But overall, good job.
Thank you.
Thanks so much, Kimberly and Antoine.
Yes, great job. I'm looking at my notes over here that I typed up while you were going. I love the research-driven approach to design and decision making. Often working with different communities, nonprofits, institutions. That was great. I love what you're doing overall. I think I wrote some things down, things that probably could have caught my attention a little bit more. Still not clear exactly on what your research practices are, but I think I have an idea. Went into your website as well, so kind of got an idea of it. Qualitative and quantitative design, research practice in participatory design, visual, ethnographic.
Well, not quantitative, but yeah.
Yeah, you should
Not yet.
just said that when she asked that question, right? Just qualitative. Okay. But different things, yeah, just trying to get a clear understanding of exactly what your focus are. In addition to that, I would say one thing that probably would have caught my attention is starting off again. I think it's important if you have a success story, right? A case study, a testimonial, different things like that, metrics that demonstrate how your research basically has influenced real world decisions or design. So I would love to hear something like that. That would immediately catch my attention. And in addition to that, what's next for the company? What's next for Sky Island Design Research? Right? Is it expanding your services? Do you have a team?
I have a small team, but it's subcontract.
Okay,
so
subcontract.
I partner with So a UX designer, another UX designer, and evaluation.
Okay.
Like this.
Yeah. So what's next? Whether it's expanding your services, right, building a team, different things like that. Understanding what your growth strategy is always adds to the appeal when you're looking for an investor. I guess that's what I'm thinking from an investor perspective. And again, a testimonial, case study, different things like that, and just a clear understanding of the services that the design research practice that you actually do. I think I was still kind of on the gray in that, so I had to look at your website a little bit. But still, great job, good job, and those are just some thoughts and recommendations that I have.
Yeah, and I've been do participatory design. I'm an anthropologist of qualitative research, and I could just focus on participatory design and creating decision-making tools. But I know that I have to be more open to, working with, because it's kind of a niche anyway. So, but So I'm kind of been trying to decide, like, how do I just go for the just like say patient decision aids, or do I like say I do something broader? So yeah.
Right. Yep. Yep. But nice job. Great job. And we're on the same page with what you just said. Sure.
Thanks, Antoine.
Yep.
And Trevor.
I'll make it quick because I did say the time's up flag. To underscore a couple things that have already been said, a case study would be very helpful. I would lean away in this example from necessarily success stories or testimonials. The case study, I think, is going to be your stronger piece here, showing specific. Here's the study. Here's the solution I offered, and here's the outcome that was taken because of the work that my company did. And similar to what Kimberly said, qual quant is king at Boston Scientific. So having a strong partner that can do that, or positioning yourself as the study design expert is key. I'd say you're working with a lot of community entities right now. Is your hope to work with the larger corporations like an AARP or like a Boston Scientific, or are you happy kind of like in the zone you're in?
Yeah, I think that working with maybe not just community-based organizations, but large, like ARP, or maybe contracting with international NGOs. I've also been exploring government contracting, or actually subcontracting.
Yep.
So that's kind of where I've been focusing, just trying to understand how contracting works with the government, right? With the other, yeah. So,
yeah.
yeah.
We're a subcontractor ourselves, so I
yeah.
I get a little bit of that. And
Local,
are
not
you
federal right now, but like at
Yeah.
the local, municipal, and state level. Yeah. So, yeah.
Are you part of the NGLCC's mentorship program for 2026? Are you applying?
Yes, I'm applying. Yeah.
Okay, good.
Awesome. Thanks, Trevor. Thank you, judges. And thank you so much, Ken. And last but not least, we have Lucas from Nuna Productions. So Lucas, do you have a presentation that you're going to be using?
Yes.
Awesome. You can go ahead and share your screen whenever you're ready.
Okay, and it has sound in it too, so I'm hoping
Okay,
that
just
comes
make sure
through.
that you click the share sound as well. When you go to share your screen, it should come up on the right of that pop-up box.
Okay, cool. All right, can you all see okay?
Yep.
All right, cool.
All right.
All right. Nuna Productions is a cultural events productions company that focuses on bridging communities through dance, play, and ritual. We have a very grand long-term vision of using the events that we are producing right now that awaken the sacred in how we gather, and creating containers for joy, honest connection, and self-expression, to help seed and build a land project where we can create an eco sanctuary or resort based off of regenerative land practices, and where we can nurture art, healing, food, and liberation using regenerative consciousness and techniques. The problem that we seek in the world that Nuna is looking to solve are, one, extractive nightlife methods, where nightlife is prioritizing profit over people and encouraging overstimulation through music, and also numbing senses through substances, alcohol, and drugs. And that usually results in environments that are unsafe or disconnected. And we also recognize that there are a lot of silos amongst various communities. And so Nuna is looking to bridge the gap between those who are nightlifers, dance floor devouts, ravers, and also those in the wellness community. And we do this by hosting events that are in the earlier evenings and that have community container set agreements that focus on more holistic aspects of gathering. a large problem we're seeing today is isolation and mental health concerns, which is a large epidemic happening in today's current world. And our solution is events programming that blend dance and ritual and community, and all of this supports emotional resilience by nurturing collective joy. And I will. So we have started hosting events already, and in the long term, like I said, we are looking to have a land project as well as hosting a micro festival, which will also lead to a large scale festival, where we can actually have that be something that regenerates the land during the gathering and throughout the year when we're not there too. But for this pitch, I'm just focusing on phase one of this project, which is our events. And right now, there's a market opportunity of $15 billion within the event promoter market within the US. And we see a rising demand for live and immersive experiences, as well as opportunities for brand collaborations and upselling ticket add-ons for revenue streams. And there's a growing interest in wellness, daytime events, and community-centered experiences. And where we are starting our events is in the Bay Area, and we see that this is a very mature live music scene. But our focus on wellness, ritual, and regenerative culture is how we're going to differentiate ourselves in this saturated market. Our flagship events are Waffle House, which I won't get super into the weeds with it. And then also Tender Riots, which are both, like I said, more in the early evening and centering practices around embodiment and community connection. And thank you. You can see from our past events that we have really good, we've gotten really good feedback from our participants. And I will go through the revenue streams just super quickly so that you can see what we're looking to generate within the first 3 years. And I'm going to, sorry, this is really fast. I'm going to skip through all this stuff, but I have mentors in the scene who have been hosting events that are very successful and selling out. And a great team and advisors on the project already. More about our financials, and we're asking for investment funding and/or opportunities to connect with potential investors. And we're also looking to start a crowdfunding campaign. And that was it. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Lucas. Great job. And I know it's 4:55, so we might go just a minute or two over with the feedback, but I will turn it over to our judges so we can get started as quickly as possible. And Trevor, I'll start with you this time.
It has been a long time since I've been at a dance party and felt super connected. You know, I agree there is definitely a need for something that is not just alcohol fueled, loud space. And I'm going to say no offense to all the wonderful parties we had at NGLCC in Las Vegas, but my liver, my God. I would actually love to see this expand to some of the conferences that happen in the supplier diversity space where there needs to be an intentional connection with networking. And I don't network well over 3 drinks and a loud a loud bass. So you know, I think there's even greater potential for expansion from your connection to the community, connection into the corporate world in how we are connecting in that space as well. So interesting model. At first I was like, I'm not sure what to do with this. But then the more you talked about it, it's like, all right, All right, I can start to see some lines coming through here. So, um, I think a little more confidence in your pitch, a little more concise explanations. I think we can get you there with some coaching. And good job.
Thank you. Appreciate that feedback.
Thank you so much, Trevor. And Kimberly.
Gonna kind of echo what Trevor said. I got there. Eventually, I would have loved to have seen the numbers. I know you had to zoom through there, but it looks like you, from what I could catch, it looks like you are doing well. But I think we just need to get you there faster, sooner, catching everyone. Like, here's what I'm trying to do. Here's my, value add proposition and how I'm different in this space than anyone else. And this is why you should invest with me. This is why, we're looking to grow in these areas. Your investment is going to equal this. So I think you kind of maybe had some of that, but we had to kind of skim through. But I believe I saw some ROI things out there. I definitely saw the merchandising. So I think we just need to work on, you've got a lot of great content, but we just got to work on pairing and scaling you back and getting the most important stories out there that are relevant to getting you where you need to go. Great job.
Yeah, for sure. I totally agree. Thank you. And yeah, it is a really grand vision with different aspects and it's complex. So I appreciate y'all, mentioning that and seeing how the lines were starting to connect because that's something that is still unfolding for me as well. To try to, because I know all this stuff is interrelated, but how to bridge it all in a business with a solid business plan and be able to convey that to potential investors it's a challenge. But I appreciate your feedback and definitely look forward to working on that more.
Great.
Thanks, Kimberly. And last but not least, Antoine.
Yes, Lucas, great job. I know we're often strapped for time here, but I love the way you walk through the problems, the solutions, and then you talked about market opportunities, right? That helped paint the picture for me. You even teased us a little bit, said this is phase one, the event side, so it had me thinking what's next, right? What's phase two, what's phase three? But the key thing is how do you differentiate your model from others? Like, yeah, the entertainment industry, if I can use that term, that's what it sounds like you're doing. How do you differentiate from everyone else that is out there that's doing the same thing? Who's your target audience? I love what Trevor said about targeting some of the NGOs or whatever in the supplier diversity space. That makes sense. Makes 100% sense. So it's a quick win, a quick opportunity for you. So understanding who your target audience is, whether it's corporations, right? The age group, right? Different things like that. Just honing in on who exactly your target audience is and how you're going to go about attracting them. And then again, how do you differentiate yourself from the companies that are similar that are out here in that space trying to do the same thing? But your solutions differentiate you, right? But how do you articulate that loud and clear, right, to grab somebody's attention? Again, storytelling is huge. Storytelling could be huge. I always say that. So, but I love the concept. Just a little more work on what you're trying to do, differentiating target audience, different things like that. But there's definitely a need, and I always tell people when you identify a need and what makes when you identify a need and you offer a solution for it and it's differentiated from what everyone else is doing, then I think there's opportunity to do more. So great job there.
Awesome. Thank you.
Thank you so much, judges. Thank you so much, Lucas. And I know we are at time, over time by just a little bit. So just wanted to say thank you so much, everybody, for coming. This was our last sip and pitch of the year, so please look out for our 2026 calendar coming soon. We'll also send out applications to pitch and applications to judge if you're in the audience and you want to be a part of this program. Thank you so much to everyone who pitched today. Kim, Lucas, Colt, Charlie, Sarah, Kit, Ken. You all did a fantastic job. Thank you so much to our judges, Antoine, Trevor, Kimberly. And thank you also to any of the other Own It participants who are here in the audience today supporting their cohort. It's great working with you all throughout the past couple of months. So thank you so much, everybody, and we will see you in 2026. Have a great weekend.
Thank you.
Thank you. Bye. Take care and be well.
Take care, everyone.
Great job.